So how do you avoid chasing clouds, even though you know that it's essentially good for, let's say, reach? I won't even say for your brand, but for reach purposes, as opposed to staying true to yourself and knowing your worth.
I feel like clout chasing, like, you could view it in two different lights, right? You could do it in the point where people are doing it for attention and for money and that kind of thing. And I think ultimately at the end of the day, what it comes down to is your purpose, right? Why are you doing it? Like, what kind of outcome are you looking for? Because I think someone's mic is feedback. Yeah, that sounds a bit better now. Yeah. So yeah, I think in terms of clout chasing, it depends on your purpose. So if you're doing it for attention, if you're doing it for money, if you're doing it at the expense of others, then I don't mess with that. But then on the converse side of it, right, you can also use that kind of stuff as a tool. So like clickbait, for example, like you need to be able to clickbait to some certain extent in order to be able to gain people's attention, because there's just so much YouTube thumbnails and YouTube videos we put out there. How do you grab people's attention? You have to use these tools to be able to progress your message and to like achieve your purpose. But I think what ultimately matters is like why you're doing it. What is your purpose and your reasoning behind things? That's my perspective, at least.
I think it also like depends on what content you actually make, like your niche. Because like the thing that stops me from like hopping on trends and stuff is that it just doesn't make sense for me to do it. You know, like for the political stuff, I was clout chasing with the Kanye video, obviously, just to try and get some views, right? But the reason that
But was it clout chasing though? Were you clout chasing? Did you put that out for clout?
I put it out to like address the situation because I saw it as being in line with what that channel does, you know, the political commentary and being South African and then Trevor Noah being involved and things like that. But I obviously thought that it would get some views because of the hype with the Kanye situation. But like the thing that stops me from hopping on most trends is that it just doesn't make sense for me to do so. Like most of us creators, like we said, we wouldn't do a TikTok trend because you get that one video that gets 1 million views and then you lose all of those people afterwards because you're not making more content like that. You get what I'm saying?
I don't know. Like I've seen people that are hopping on these trends. Like all they do is put out trends, and they've like grown a substantial amount over the last year just because of sustainably putting out like these trends and these things that people like watching. People like watching these trends. I don't know why. Maybe we don't like watching it. Maybe we're a bit salty because we can see like how much effort we put in our work, and then like we compare that to how much effort goes into some of these trends, right? And maybe that's where it comes from. I don't know, but I've seen people grow from following trends, bro. Like what's really cool though is from the example that I'm giving now, like I always talk about Uzzy Boy, right? She's the people's dietitian. Go check her out on Instagram if you want to go see what I'm talking about. But she's someone who's done this really well. Like she was sitting on like 3,000 followers, maybe like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. And now she's gotten up to the point where she's on 10K. And that's solely through her putting out these like reels talking about these different trends. But what I love about what she does is she'll take a trend, like whatever trend it may be, and she'll like switch it up in a way where it starts like actually offering value and like educating people on like dietetics and food and nutrition. So she takes those trends and basically transforms them into like content that offers value. So I think maybe that's where the difference lies, right? I mean, there's a difference between teaching people about why they should not be eating a certain thing and how much cholesterol it has, and then someone like who's just staring at their screen and blinking when the blue light reaches the Wi-Fi signal or whatever it is.
Yeah. No, I get you. That was she does that really well. I won't lie. She makes her content very digestible. So if one is able to move in that,
I see what you did there.
Oh shit! Hey, that was on purpose. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, one sees that, and I think another one was that. So looking at it from the perspective of a social media manager, I definitely fell into this trap when working with brands, right? So when you have to come up with content for brands. There is also just these mechanics and these formulas that one could use to try and help a brand new brand grow up. And I don't know if you guys view it the same, but I saw over some time that your like your Monday motivations. You know what I mean? That was kind of like cloud chasing, because you know that everybody messes with a Monday motivation. So so you'd see that like every Monday, 8 brands post something motivational. Do you know what I mean? Or Friday facts, or and I'd be like, so, and I've noticed that that's also the situation. So I know, Rocky, you mentioned that you're a social media manager, but how do you, or even you, Josh, how do you guys go about like making sure that the content isn't generic, isn't also just based on pure reach? Like, Monday motivation is going to get a lot of hits. Friday facts is going to get a lot of hits. Like, how do you guys also stay away from cloud chasing in that regard, not alone from just your personals, but from helping other brands as well?
Okay. So do you
I don't think that counts as cloud
It's more
chasing,
like,
though.
like it's a standard to like
I think it
post on
depends
this
on your
Monday, like,
purpose,
a standard
bro.
that everyone
Yeah.
follows, as opposed to like a trend. Because like the trend would like stay for like a bit and then it'll go away. This stuff is like still going strong for most creators and things like that.
Yes. Okay.
Look, I think for me, I always talk about this concept of offering value, right? And I think as long as you're offering something of value to people, then your content or whatever you're putting out there is going to actually achieve whatever purpose you're looking to achieve. But you need to be like thinking about what is this doing for someone, right? So I think with brands, it becomes a lot more difficult, because I think when you have a social media profile that is like a logo, for example, like it's very difficult to relate to that as a human being. It's much easier to relate to another person than what it is to relate to like
Another
KFC
brand,
or like I don't know, whatever brand, right? So I think when it comes to brand content, you're already on a back foot in that sense, where people know that you're putting this out because you want to sell your chicken, or you want to sell your soap, or whatever it may be, right? So you're already on a back footing. So now you need to be able to like kind of get around that back footing by offering value to what you're doing. So for me, if a brand is putting out a Monday motivational thing and I'm someone on a Monday who's looking for some motivation, I'm probably going to follow that account because that brand is able to offer me value through their Monday motivations. So, look, it's much more intricate than that, because I think the way that you present it is also important. But I think when it comes to brand content, you can tell which brand managers out there are doing it to sell the product and which brand managers out there understand that they actually need to offer value to people. Because a lot of brands, they just put out like buy our stuff or like brand stuff, like, and that doesn't offer value to anyone. But that brand isn't going to achieve any sort of success because they're not offering value through their content. So I don't know. That's my take.